Well, hey there, and welcome to a special Homa Live today. We're talking all about game jams, and we're going to announce the theme. So great to see you all here in that chat. What is up? Too many people to mention today, but great to see the turnout. We're super excited about this. We have some great guests for you. We have Olivier, co-founder here at Homa Games, and we have our sponsor, Google, for this game jam to come on and say a few bits. So without further delay, I am going to welcome on co-founder here at Homa Games, Olivier, and he's going to say a few words about Homa and everything that we've got going on here. So I'll hand over to you now, Olivier.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Kevin, for the introduction and also organizing this fifth jam, HomaJam now. This kind of a mythic rendezvous that we have started a couple of years ago now. So I'll take 2 minutes of your time to first wish you good luck in this fifth jam organized with Aurelie and Google. We're very, very excited. I think the market intelligence team, as well as the whole Homa team, has organized a nice event and a nice theme for all of you guys. I'll make it very quick, but my name is Olivier. I co-created the company 4 years ago. Homa now, as you know, we're not only a market, let's say a publisher and a developer in hypercasual. We've done that since 4 years, but we've quickly expanded starting last year into other game categories. So we would be very, very excited if you guys are entering into other categories than hyper casual, hybrid casual. As you know, we've launched last year this idle arcade new game category that we are getting very, very excited about, and more recently blockchain gaming and casual games. So yeah, we're now 140 employees, more than 25 nationalities, different nationalities, spread everywhere across the world. We're very lucky to have this diversity of talent inside the company. And yeah, as I explained at the beginning of the introduction, this is the fifth jam already. The first one was with Nerf. And then we had a few others with Facebook and more recently Sorare. And this time, yep, we were lucky to align with Aurelie's team and Google to organize this fifth one, where we believe this one will be definitely focused on even more game quality. You'll see the team has brought on the table tools that will be helping potentially you to develop games faster and potentially better, and in order to achieve the very nice prizes that Homa is ready to put on the table for participants and also winners of the jam. So yeah, I really want to welcome all of you again. I want to thank the whole Google and Homa team for organizing this event, especially Kevin, Valentin, and Aurelie. And obviously, good luck everyone. Really excited to see all your projects and to discuss with you along with those few weeks inside the different Discord channels. So yeah, thank you everyone. Good luck, and I'll be passing the mic back to Kevin. Bye bye.
So thanks, Olivier. Much appreciated that, boss. So as you can see there, growing company, number 5 jam here at Homa. We're super excited about that. And as Olivier mentioned, we have Google as a sponsor this time around. So I'm just going to have a quick wave to Aurelie, and she's got some a presentation for us, some few slides before we get going. But let's just welcome on Aurelie to the chat. I'm just going to pass over to her now, and I'll be back in a bit.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, everyone. So my name is Aurelie, and I am leading the mobile gaming vertical for Google France here in Paris. We partner with best-in-class publishers and studios, such as Homa Games, and help them grow. I am very happy to introduce the cross-functional Google team, which will be supporting this jam. We have a mix of engineers and project managers from our Google Ads, AdMob, and Cloud teams here to help. So at Google, we have a very long history of supporting developers. Our annual developer conference, Google I/O, happened last week. It brings together developers for talks, hands-on learnings with Google experts, and a first look at Google's latest developer products. Google is also very well known to promote an inclusive culture and encourage innovation. Our products are built for everyone. It is good for the users and good for the business. It enables you to tap into a wider audience, and also the lack of inclusion damages trust. Built for everyone, by everyone, there are numerous Google developer communities around the world. You can find out and join your local communities through our Google I/O website. So we will be supporting this jam through 3 masterclasses centered on building apps, user acquisition, and monetization. We will guide you through the best of Firebase and Google solutions to grow mobile games. Firebase is at the core of our app strategy. It is a development platform that helps you build and grow apps and games. It focuses on 3 steps of the app's journey: build, release, and monitor and engage. And now it is time to wish you a very good luck. And I hand it back over to you, Kevin.
Thank you very much. So yeah, super thrilled you could join us with that. Those masterclasses will be coming your way. We'll give you some more details about that shortly. But thanks, Aurelie. We really appreciate that, and we couldn't have asked for a better partner. So let's get going. In case you missed it already, at the bottom of your screen there, you can see there is a timer that is ticking down until 11:59 tonight. So the registration is still open, and we encourage you to come on over and register for the jam, and it will shut off tonight, and that's it. So if you want to check out those masterclasses, and we'll show you a little bit of what we've got here at Team Homa for you, you definitely want to go over to the jam.homagames.com website. There will be a link in that chat and in the description of this video, so be sure to get your name in and registered before we shut this off to get all that free content, and of course a chance of winning some amazing prizes, of which is on your screen right now, our main prize, which is the 50/50 rev share deal. There's a minimum of 200k bonus for that, signing that deal as well. And in all fairness, this is pretty unheard of within the industry. It's a super fantastic deal and pretty much second to none in terms of major prizes. But we did not want to stop at that main prize. And for you, we have 6 other ways to win within this jam. We're going to be rewarding some game ideas this time around. So even if you don't win the super duper big one, if you've got a super great idea, we are going to be rewarding you, and you have a chance of winning $2,500. And there is multiple chances to win. So you could submit 3 games if you wanted, and if all the ideas are absolute knockout, you've got a chance of winning that $2,500. So if you're creating games anyway, get yourself registered. It's a no-brainer. You might as well get yourself registered, submit your prototypes throughout this month, and you've got a chance of winning just for your game idea. Now, next up, we've got the Homa Choice Awards. There, again, is multiple chances to win, and this is ranked by our publishing team for the overall quality of your game and some KPIs and the execution. So if you built a really great looking prototype, our publishing team will flag that up, and you've got the chance of winning $5,000. Again, multiple chances to win on that one. So if you've produced 2 real stellar prototypes, you're in with a chance. Now, the other one there, which is a huge jump in prize, which is a $35,000 single win for the best CPI of the competition. If you can hit below 0.15 cents on Android, you're in. But we didn't want to stop there. There are prizes to be won at every step of the process. And of course, we have the Founders Award. Now, you just saw Olivier on the chat there introducing Homa. He is going to choose his favourite game submitted throughout the jam. So if there is ever a chance to catch the attention of the big chiefs here at Homa, as well as the publishing team and all the market intelligence experts, Olivier is going to come on and he's going to choose his game that he feels has got the most potential. So Perhaps it doesn't make some of the really fancy numbers, but if you're looking to produce a prototype, Olivier is going to choose, he's going to look at all of them. I don't think he quite realised that now, but he's got to look through all of them and he's going to choose his favourite. And he's going to award you $2,500 for the game that he feels has got most potential. Now, maybe you're a solo dev and you haven't got enough resources. At this point, the potential is exactly what we're looking for. Perhaps we put some resources into helping you build out your game and developing it further. So this alone is a really good opportunity for you. Certainly if you're stretched and maybe you're great at coding but your artwork's not so good, we can help. So we'll be looking at all of them, and that is the Founders Award. The best overall metrics coming next is $25,000. You can see the numbers on your screen for the metrics you need to hit there. This is relatively standard. For those who've been around game jams before, you'll recognize these numbers. Certainly if you've been trying out with some prototypes before, you'll know these sort of numbers, but there is multiple chances to win. So if you make any of these numbers, perhaps your CPI is slightly higher than we'd like, but your playtime is off the charts, we will take all these KPIs into consideration, and there's a whopping $25,000 for the winner there. Now, the last one is the one that I'm kind of excited about. It's a single winner here, but this is where we're going to go through all the games. Myself, the publishing team, and the market intelligence team are just going to pick out our favourite. That's the truth of it. Anything with exceptional quality, we're going to pick out the winner here. So even if, like I said before, you don't make some of those magic unicorn numbers, we're going to pick out for and reward you for the one that we like the most. And I'm sure there's going to be a fight, but we'll figure that out here at Homa. But we will be awarding that of our favourite game for exceptional quality and overall build and all the good stuff. So there's the prizes. Registration is still open. You've got until 12 o'clock tonight. So make sure you get your name in the hat. And don't forget, we got the masterclasses and all of that stuff coming for you. We've got exclusive content only available for registrants of the jam. So for that alone, it's worth coming in and saying hello. Should we get to it? Should we just get to it? Before we do all the nitty gritty and all of the guidelines and all that stuff, let's just go ahead and do the theme announcement. So without further ado, I'm going to do an impromptu drum roll here. Here we go. And the theme is Blast from the Past. Reboot, remix, and reimagine. So what do we mean by this? So we all know games like Pac-Man and games from video history that could do with a breath, I should say, of fresh air into their lungs of that format. And we wanted to make this accessible to absolutely everybody. So if there is an old game from your past that you fell in love with, think about how you could reboot and reimagine that for 2022. Could you do a Space Invaders with more hyper-casual artwork? I don't know how that would work. Probably don't want to do that. That's a rubbish idea, but you get my point. So we're going to go through here a little bit of a few helpful tips and tricks. Now, we're going to be available on Discord all throughout the game jam itself. I'm going to go through the agenda in just a minute, but I thought before we do that, we should just announce the theme and get that out of the way. So, Blast from the Past, Reboot, Remix, and Reimagine. So, I think now we should just probably do the timeline, actually. So, let's do that. We have got today, obviously, we've started this on, where are we? Here we go. Where are we? We have got the timeline. So, April 29th is when we open the doors. May 23rd, today the registration is closing. And obviously, we're announcing the theme. June 22nd is when we're going to close off the registration. So, you've got just short of a month to produce as many prototypes as you want. and get your submissions in. We'll go through some of the guidelines, as I said, in just a moment to make it really clear from you, but we will be available on Discord throughout from this moment forward until the end of time, if I'm honest. So come and join us on the Discord. You will find a link in the description. Our glamorous team at HomaJam will paste you a link in the chat very shortly in case you missed it. But click on the Discord link. Make sure you come and join us there. That is completely free, as all of this is, of course. And you can talk to us there, and we'll be posting some ad hoc live streams and all the information and answer any questions that you might have over on the Discord. And on July 29th, we will be closing the ceremony and announcing the winners. So there's a good 4 to 5 weeks after submission closing, and that allows us to give us plenty of time to make sure we can test your games thoroughly, and we need to do it in batches so everybody gets a fair crack of the whip. So give us 5 weeks at least to do the testing. It's slightly breathable that date, but that is generally speaking when the winners will be announced. And of course, if there's any change to that, we will be communicating that to you. But overall, July 29th is when we're going to announce the winners. So blast from the past, get your brain thinking about that right now. We will be coming on doing some live streams, as I said. Aurelie already mentioned the Google masterclasses that we're super excited to do. We have got our own agenda lined up for you. So kicking off on May 25th, Wednesday coming, we have publishing lead Erwan here, and he's going to come on and talking about some of the prototyping best practices for you. So it'll be a stream much like this one, and we will be talking about all the best ways that you can do your prototypes, helpful tips and tricks to ensure that you're putting your best foot forward and maybe thinking about approaching the prototypes in a different way. He has a wealth of experience. We have world-class publishing managers here at Homa, and I've twisted all of their arms, and they're all going to come on and talk about game jammy stuff, hyper-casual, prototyping, all of that good stuff. So on Friday, we're joined with Arthur, who's going to talk about game jams and prototyping. We have Pierre coming on, and we're going to deconstruct some games. If you've ever caught Academy Live, then we are going to be doing that all throughout. So 2 live streams every single week. Can you believe it? Oleg is joining with me on the Friday. We have Game Creators with Katia. She's going to talk about how to create the best videos for your games. What are the tips and tricks to reduce CPI? That is going to be amazing. And that sort of time will be when you're thinking about creating videos or thinking about the videos for your prototypes. That is going to be epic. We have Augustine coming on with more game deconstructions. We have Luca, and we have Ivan. So that's what's coming up. 2 live streams every single week from the expert, the world-class publishing managers here at HomaJam. So you seriously really don't want to be missing out on that. And as I said, we're kicking off on May 25, next Wednesday. No, that doesn't make sense. There's a typo there. There we go. Nothing like a bit of live. We will update this page. This page will be available for you very shortly, but that will be starting next Wednesday, and we'll fix those dates up for you. And you'll get a link to this page after the registration closes this evening. All right, so let's go back to some ideation tips and tricks here. Blast from the past. Let's have a look and see how we can figure this stuff out. So first tip, really, look to history for the video games. So look for old console games, the Atari 2600 or, a Mega Drive or something. What sort of games are on there? Now, obviously, we're not asking you to create full-on console games, but is there parts of those sort of old titles that you enjoyed as a kid, or what are the best parts of those games, right? Everything is a remix, but let's look to the past to reboot some of these and get inspired from these old, powerful, exciting games. These are knockout, big hit games. What can we learn from those old ones and bring them into the hyper-casual space. And it could just be that you do a vertical slice of those games. You know, there was a bit in X game that you jumped up and did this, and maybe that in of itself you could expand that loop and make that into a prototype. So there's so much possibility here. It's unbelievable. And even going back to, the old handheld things where they had no graphics to play with, but they were a lot of fun in their day. We also have YouTube and the App Store. So search YouTube for old video games. It's kind of simple and yet obvious and yet super amazing. So search for things like best iOS games from 2010. So 12 years ago the App Store's been around. Some of these old games from yesteryear, back in 2012, 13, 14, 15, etc. Some of those games were so popular for good reason, because the devices were slightly lower in tech. There was less graphics to play around with, so much like the really old console games, there was a lot of constraints that the early developers had, and therefore they made their games super exciting with just really that solid core loop without any fancy graphics. So search YouTube for those old games. There's tons of compilations. We will be posting some links up in the Discord to help you out real quick, but honestly you can just search YouTube and you'll come up with so many. It's unbelievable. And I looked at a few yesterday, and there's some games that I completely forgot about, and one of those actually was Infinity Blade. I don't know, give me a heads up in that chat if anyone remembers Infinity Blade. I don't think anyone's done a hyper casual version of that. I think that could be pretty good. Big boss fight every level. Pretty cool stuff. Then we have things like miniclip.com and what was it? playclassic.games. I don't know if you've checked any of them out. Back in the day, there was plenty of Flash sites that obviously is obsolete now, but the old sites that you could visit for playing games in your browser, there's a lot of old games on there that haven't really been rebuilt for mobile. Now, you will find some that have been taken to mobile, clearly, but they started off on miniclip.com and Play Classic Game. I always get that wrong. Playclassic.games. Go and check out those. See what you can reboot. A lot of these games their core loop is so good, but they just haven't been reimagined or rebooted for 2022. Rush to make our games live on time. Yeah, maybe, but there we go. So there's two other things, right? I did miss there. Classic mobile first games. Well, that's kind of what I touched on the Infinity Blade. But, when we look a few years back, the likes of Ketchup, who dominated the App Store, that, had 1,000 games in the top 100, you can see some of their old games that are really, really solid and could be rebooted for the Jam this time around. They're right in front of you. Liven up the graphics, make them less punitive, because they were kind of ragey games back in the day. But there's certainly a lot of ideas to be had for mobile first games. So you can do a search for, all of that as well. But Ketchup's a good place to start. Maybe Boombit as well. Game screen orientation and graphics. So I included this one because a lot of the games, certainly the console games, will be landscape. And for hyper casual and casual that we're looking for, we don't really want landscape games. We want it to be portrait. But have a look at some of the games where, even though they're landscape, lock your phone device and turn it up the other way, and you'll find that all of a sudden you've got this landscape game that now goes up the screen that can really yield some interesting results. So don't forget that. And obviously, the older the games back in the day were a lot more 2D games out. So could you take a game that was traditionally 2D and change that to 3D graphics? Literally just not changing too much from the loop itself, but essentially taking a 2D game and 3Ding it up. And that could be really, really powerful and relatively, I'm going to say easy. I don't mean it like that, but a kind of almost a low-hanging fruit. If you see a really popular old game, it's been done before, like they did with Pac-Man. I think they called it I want to say Pac-Man 360. I'm probably wrong there, but they Namco actually redid Pac-Man into 3D, and that was a pretty big hit for them back in the day as well. So plenty of options there, and you have a wealth of material to draw upon when thinking about how you can get ideas for a new game from an old game, right? So I thought what I'd do real quick is give you an example, and this is probably the most obvious one and the most well-known one of recent years, which is Frogger from Konami back in the 80s, and Hipster World turned Crossy Road at the end of 2014. They made Crossy Road from Frogger, right? So you can see on the left you got the Frogger, which is the 2D version, but the game is exactly the same. And I think this is a real classic example of how you can take an older game and reboot it into 2022. And Frogger is easy to make. What is up, Syntax? Good to see you in the chat. I can see the chat, by the way. I'm just trying to not get distracted like I normally do. So yeah, the original Frogger, it's sad to say, that's nearly 40 years old now, which is insane. But yeah, back 8 years ago, Hipster World created Crossy Road, and that was like the biggest hit. That was one of the major hits of the App Store ever. Obviously got turned into Disney franchises and all sorts of things, but it really does illustrate well exactly how you can take an old game, a 2D game, and turn it into a 3D version that looks more akin and more at home on the App Store today, even though we don't see too much voxel graphics right now. But could you do some kind of version of this with the more of the hyper-casual graphics that we see ruling the App Store today? Food for thought. So that was Frogger and Crossy Road from 2014. But I thought, just as we finish this section off, to kind of boot it a little bit more up to date. Now, you'll see Pick Me Up here and Pick Me Up 3D, both Tasty Pill games released back a few years ago. And hitting the top 10 in the last 2 weeks was the release from Voodoo called Deliver It 3D. And when you look at them side by side, you'll see it is very, very close. So the original Pick Me Up was a 2D game, and then Tasty Pill actually rebooted themselves and made a 3D version, and both did very well. And with a slight twist on the game sort of themey / story, where they're not picking people up, but they're delivering stuff, you go from the original Pick Me Up to Deliver It 3D, and you can see the game is exactly the same. 2D to 3D, very new graphics, super, super delicious and juicy to play, the new Voodoo one, and congrats to them because that's done very well for them. But yeah, that's a classic example. When you control the game, it's exactly the same. You could play it the same. You know, the controls are the same. It's the same game, just gone from 2D to 3D, rebooted for 2022. So I hope that gives you a few ideas of what we've got. We're going to cover more and more of this, like I said, over every week for the next 2 weeks, as well as some probably ad hoc streams and some Q&As if you've got any ideas or you want to reach out to us. Like I said, check out the chat for the link to the Discord. Get yourself over there, and of course head over to jam.homagames.com to register for all the content and get your name in the hat so you can produce potentially the next hit with us here. So let's go over some of the boring side of things, some guidelines. All your games that this time need to be created in Unity. Pretty standard, and it probably won't be a surprise to you all, but obviously we need them all in Unity for the jam. We're only accepting Android only for this jam, so all your exports need to be Android only. And of course, they need to be included in, which needs to be included is Homa Belly, and that's the our SDK, which includes Facebook and Google Analytics. It's a one-hit SDK. All you're going to need to do is get a Facebook app ID and a Google Analytics ID via a token that we provide you. It's dead easy. If you've not tested with us before, you'll see how easy it is to run this through our online dashboard. And as you'd expect with our sponsor of Google, all the games need to be live on the Google Play Store so we can go ahead and test them and run some ads for you. via the Homa dashboard, like I said. And last but not least for this one, no ads in your games. We don't want to run any ads within your game, so don't worry about that. We just want to see the gameplay, and you need to make sure you put the Homa Belly SDK in so we can do all the tracking and get all the numbers and run some ads for you. So a few tips and tricks just before we start to do a quick recap here today. Really want to make sure we have a portrait orientation of the game. We want to be able to hold the game in one hand, right? We don't want to be doing all of this. That's why you see all the games, the hyper-casual games at the top of the charts, all portrait resolution. Your game needs to be easy to understand. You don't want to stray too far from the core loop. Take your references from the past, but really boil it down into that one thing that you repeat over and over that makes it real good fun. What made those games in the past so appealing, and almost condense and purify it down to that single action that you're doing. And we need to, when we run the videos, we need to be able to see exactly what the game is all about within the first 5 seconds. It's kind of the golden rule of hyper casual as we know it today. Concentrate on your core mechanic, make sure it's polished, right? We want to make it fun, but really spend time on what is the essence of your game and is it fun? It really makes a difference. All the ones that you see in the top of the charts, they're actually pretty fun to play. You could all make fancier graphics and have different colors, but their loop is good, and that's why people enjoy them. Keep your UI really minimal. We don't need tons of buttons. We don't need a 7-page tutorial. Simple little tutorial with telling us how to play is perfect. Make that user experience really pulled back and strip away any of the unnecessary. Make sure there's no buttons on there that don't need to be. Just get us into the game as soon as you can. A few simple buttons and we're good to go. Keep your sessions short. 45 to 60, 1 minute 15 is normally optimal. Short, sharp, snackable games. So if you've got a level-based game, for instance, keep those levels down to less than a minute, ideally. We really want to see as much gameplay as you can cram in for your prototypes, but 5 to 10 minutes of gameplay is perfectly fine for the prototypes. And again, if you've got any questions or you're a little bit unsure, you can always send us a message over on the Discord and we can definitely help you out there. So if you haven't done already, and I will remind you once again, you do need to register for all of this at jam.homagames.com, and of course visit us on the Discord. Links are in the description and in that chat. And there you go. Hybrid or idle type of games appropriate for the jam? That's a great question, Mehmet, and I was just about to get to that. And of course, we want to try and make sure you've got a bug-free build as possible. Now, we know there might be a few little hiccups here and there, but try and get all of those bugs ironed out. It makes so much difference. And yes, the theme of Blast from the Past encompasses all genres this time around. Surprise us. We all know that something fresh to the market normally works best. So there's no restrictions on any theme or genre. We want you to explore and surprise us and see what you can come up with. There's very little we want to put any restraints on anybody this time around. Show us what you got. What if we plan to make idle arcade? Well, if you plan to make an idle arcade, that obviously isn't too relevant. You want to continue in the way that you normally would with the idle arcade. We will, if you post on the Discord with specific questions, we will have Jules come on, who is literally the world-leading expert on idle arcade. We will bring him on and we'll talk about idle arcade. But obviously, short session times. For idle arcade, you really want to try and make sure your play time is up and make it engaging. And again, make that core loop super juicy and exciting to play, and all of that good stuff. There we go. Just replied in the chat and saved me doing it. So I hope that makes sense. So before we wrap up today, we don't want to over-egg this. I want to remind you of all the cool stuff we've got going on. Of course, we have the agenda here with all of the live streams coming up, which you can only access if you register. 2 a week, plus there's some additional ones coming up as well. We have Registration closing tonight, 11:59. And the prize is, top prize, 50/50 rev share. Come on now. What are you going to do? No-brainer alert. It's worth it just for that alone. And of course, as we mentioned right at the beginning, we want to reward you for every step of the process here. Let's go and get Best Game Ideas, Homer's Choice Awards, Best Market CPI, Founders Award, Best Overall Metrics, and the Standout Award. So there's not much else for me to say at this point. A little bit of a different stream because obviously we wanted to open up and let you know what the plan is. Join me live on Wednesday. That date was right. I think I just totally derped out there. Let's have a look at that again. Where is that? Wednesday the 25th. Yeah, I am a potato. It's official. So Wednesday the 25th, I will be back on the channel with Erman talking about prototype best practices. That's not easy to say. English is hard. So join with me on Wednesday. You will get a link after you join today, or if you've already joined, you will get an email starting tomorrow, and that will give you access to the platform where you can go through and submit your games. Everything's documented there. It's our tried and tested dashboard, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. We have full documentation. Any problems, we will be there to help you out on Discord. But you will get a link and access to all the live streams coming up. Now, if you don't get your email, don't panic. We will batch them out a little bit because there's a lot of people to send emails to, so it might be slightly later in the day or even on Wednesday morning. Don't panic. If you haven't received your email by 4 p.m. CET on Wednesday, hit us up on Discord and we'll figure out what's going on. But you'll get instant access from that email to create your account, and you'll see all the cool stuff we have over there inside Homa Labs for you, and of course access to all these live streams and some previous streams and some details on some ideas that we'll be putting together and loads of good stuff. Where can we get the Belly SDK? That will be inside Homa Lab. There's a link there. So obviously we have the very latest version constantly updated for you. So you can get the Homa Belly SDK when you get access to Homa Lab, and then you can install that and jobs are good. Hope that makes sense. All right. Any questions that we can answer before I say goodbye today? Not really set up for the Q&A like we normally do on Fridays, but we can do a couple more minutes in case I've missed anything. I can see Valentine there, the glamorous Valentine, in the chat answering some questions. So without further ado, I might go and wind that up. Don't forget to come and visit jam.homagames.com and get your names in that hat. Do games need audio? They don't need audio, but as with everything, I think some small audio would really add to the production value of your game. So I would say if you can, if it's relevant and it seems appropriate, you should add a little bit of audio in your game, yeah. On the submissions, will we have to send the GDD? I don't actually know what that means. What is up, Jason? Good to see you here, Mr. Jason Lovett. What is up, dude? I don't know what GDD is, so apologies for derping out on that. Game design document, I see, sorry. No, you do not need to make a game design document, far from it. I wouldn't bother, not for Hypercasual. Yeah, thanks everybody, sorry, it's difficult for me, I didn't get it, I know. I'm the only one in the whole YouTube that doesn't know what that meant, so apologies for that. But yeah, don't worry about that, we're just interested in your prototypes. And like I said, we'll be around on the Discord to answer any questions you may have, and feel free to reach out to me and we'll try and hook you up if we're missing anything. Okay, with all that said and done, that is going to go and wrap it up for me today. Come and join me Wednesday. Email will be in your inbox coming shortly. If you've not had one, please don't email me in 5 minutes saying we don't have it. Emails will go out starting tomorrow. We don't foresee any problems, but there might be a slight delay, so keep an eye on your inbox, check your spam folders, all of that good stuff. And if you haven't registered, oh my goodness, I don't know what you're doing, but you need to register right now before 12 o'clock. because we're shutting the doors and that'll be it, and you'll miss out on all this stuff and you won't have a chance of winning the prizes. And quite frankly, if you've ever wanted to build a game, now is the perfect opportunity to put your best foot forward and make yourself build a game, because you'll be in the chance, even for an idea, you could win some money, and hey, you could do a lot with that. So that is going to wrap it up for me for now. Thank you everybody for joining with me today. I hope that was all clear. I am super pumped for this. I know you're going to create some excellent, awesome prototypes. The team can't wait to see what you're going to cook up. It's going to be a good one. And with all that said, that is going to do it for me. So remember, Jilly, games don't make themselves. I will see you on Wednesday, and see you later, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.